Meet Taka. Originally from Japan, but having grown up in the US, he first came to Thailand more than 10 years ago and now runs a business right here in the big city of Bangkok that he founded. Taka's gonna talk about what is the process to set up a Thai company, how to go about finding really good Thai staff. He's also gonna share some of the differences between leading and building a team here in Thailand versus his home country. He's gonna share some of the things he likes about Thailand, some of the things he doesn't like about his life over here. And in between all this, we'll get into his monthly cost of living, understand what he's doing for fun outside of work, and take a peek at his condo as well. So this is Taka's Thailand Blueprint. I'm Adam, let's get into it. All right, Taka, where were you when you first decided you were moving to Thailand?
Well, the first time I came to Thailand wasn't to live here. I had graduated college, and then I really didn't have a job lined up, I had nothing to do. And so I was like, I just want to get out of America for a little bit. I literally just kind of went online and said like fun trips or something like that. And then instead of just taking a trip, I just decided that I wanted to do something that's good. So I ended up signing on with a volunteer group. And then so I signed up with this NGO up in Chiang Rai province. And I ended up staying with them for 3 months. I taught English and did a little bit of various things there.
So you did 3 months in the north,
yeah.
And then you moved back to the US?
Yeah, so that was always going to just be a temporary stay. So I was there for 3 months, and after that, I think I just kind of backpacked around Southeast Asia for a little while, did the whole, going to Laos, tubing, full moon party kind of thing. Got that out of my system, and then I went back home to America, yeah, and then I was like, well, let me try and find a job now. And then I think I just couldn't find anything really worthwhile. And so I was like, man, screw this. I just want to go back to Thailand now. So that time around, I actually ended up getting a real paid teaching job. And so that's how I came to actually live in Thailand.
How many years ago was this?
So the first time I came to volunteer was in 2011. And then I went home, and I think I moved here May of 2012, yeah.
So you've been here for a decade now.
So not exactly. That was my first time living in Thailand. So I ended up teaching up in Nan province for 2 years. And then after that, I moved back to Chiang Rai to teach at a different school for another year. And then, so 3 years total. And then I went back home to America, and then I worked a bunch of various jobs for like 5 years. And then I finally decided, I was like, this is getting kind of old now. I think it's time for Thailand again, It's funny, I moved here to Bangkok right as COVID started. So it was like March 2020. So it was a really interesting time back then, yeah.
Why Bangkok versus going back up to the north?
I think, the north has a lot of good things going for it, like beautiful scenery, really nice people and all that. But I think I needed a little bit more in terms of things to do, because after a while it gets a little, boring up there. So I just felt like, Bangkok's a modern city, a lot of things going on with it. So I was like, Bangkok's the place to be, yeah.
And then we're going to get into the business you're currently building out shortly. But when you moved here in March 2020, it wasn't to start this business, right? It was you moved here for something different?
Yeah, I had actually landed a job working for a Japanese company doing sales, just really regular office work, So I did that for about 1.5 years, quit that, hated that job. But I quit that, and then I had been doing like photography as a hobby for many years now, up to this point. And so I just started doing freelance gigs for photography. And then eventually I started doing more videos, came to a point where I met my business partner, Keith, and then we decided to start up a company.
What's that process like, starting a business in Thailand, establishing the legal framework, and then doing everything properly, doing everything above board? What's that like for your experience?
So I'm a complete newbie to this world in terms of like entrepreneurship. I've always worked for someone, worked for companies. So coming into this was like a big daunting thing, but I think what really helped was that my business partner Keith, he had a digital agency of his own before, and so he had set that up in all the proper ways, and so he was able to introduce me to our current accountant right now that we use. She also has she's part of a legal firm that helps set up registered businesses, and so I pretty much just followed everything that she advised. Yeah.
And what kind of stuff was she advising? So you need to have Thai staff. As a foreigner, you can only own 49% of a Thai company.
Yeah.
How did all that work for you, your business partner, Keith? and then the Thai shareholders?
You know, initially you do a lot of your research by yourself. You go online and see what's good, and then there's a lot of legal offices that help foreigners do that here, but they're all kind of varying in the price points, you know.
Sure.
But this one, you know, Keith had already done business with her, and he had nothing but good things to say about her, so decided to go with her. Her prices were good. And yeah, basically she gave us all the rundown of things like, as you mentioned, like you can, as a foreigner, you can only own 49% of a business. You need 4 Thai staff. And then another thing is you need 2 million baht upfront in capital to register the business. As long as you have someone showing you how to do it and they're going through the process with you, I think it, you know, helps immensely, because I think it's actually pretty much impossible to do it on your own. I don't know how you would as a foreigner, you know.
Yeah, it can get overwhelming. Exactly. When I was setting up my company a few years back to get my non-B visa, to get my work permit, if I didn't have the accountant that I had, it would have been a nightmare, man. There's so much paperwork.
I think even with help, it's a nightmare still, right?
Yeah.
It's like so much crap to do.
And then when did you get the process started for setting up this Thai corporation that has now become Modal Creative?
Yeah, so we rented out this building like a year ago. February 2023 is when we signed the lease and everything. So it's been just about a little over a year. And I think we got started with the registration process right away, and then we were able to finish it quite quickly. I think by like July we were done with it. We had got our registration business number. And so that is just a registration, right? From that point on, since I'm a foreigner, like there's an extra lengthy process to get my non-B and work permit and all that. So that's a whole separate process. But for me, I went back home to America for like a month. And during that time, I registered for a non-B visa at the consulate over in Los Angeles. And it took about 2 weeks for them to process it. What they need in that is for your legal office to prepare all the necessary documents. So that's the part where you definitely need someone to help you in, because there's like, you know, piles and piles of documents that you need to sign. You need to go get approved by the labor office and things like that. And so once all that is ready by your team, you take that with you, you go to your country's Thai consulate, apply for the non-B, and once that's approved, then you can come back into Thailand. And then from there, your legal office will continue the process to get the work permit. Yeah.
So you had gotten that all taken care of at the Thai consulate in LA.
Right, yeah.
Came back into Thailand with an approved non-B business visa.
Right. To add to a little bit of details to that, the non-B actually initially only lets you stay in Thailand for 3 months. What they do with that non-B visa is go get it approved to extend it fully for 1 year. Yeah, so there's like another extra little step that you have to do once you come back into Thailand, but it's pretty straightforward from that point on, yeah.
Right, okay, so that took place, and then they finished out the trifecta, let's call it, and then got your work permit sorted out.
So now I can like legally work and do things related to the company now.
Cool. Okay, so now that we've gone over some of the technicalities as to how you got here, what is your actual setup that allows you to live and work legally in Thailand?
Right.
Let's talk about Modal Creative. Like what is Modal, man?
I was doing like a lot of freelance videography and photography. And so Keith had a digital agency of his own before, so he had a lot of experience in the space. And I had done a couple of one-off gigs for him. And so it came to a point where we just saw eye to eye on a lot of projects that we were doing. And so we said, you know what, why don't we start something of our own? Why don't we combine our skills and experiences and we'll make a company of our own? And so Modal, as is implied in the name Creative Studio, we tried to take on a lot of creative projects. So I would say initially we were doing a lot of production work for a lot of hospitality clients. So people like hotels, restaurants, bars, people like that, you know, creating a lot of video content for them. Now, within the last few months, it's kind of morphed into another direction, another wing of the company where we take care of kind of like content marketing for B2B purposes for people that are maybe entrepreneurs and they're trying to make ads or they're trying to make personal branding content or online coaches, kind of like what you guys are doing here with the Thai language course. So we've kind of repurposed a lot of our efforts into taking care of that kind of service offering for our clients too.
And Modal's your first entrepreneurial venture.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's my first rodeo. Yeah.
And how's it going so far?
Oh man, it's like with anyone would say, there's a lot of ups and downs. You know, there's some incredibly low points maybe, but there's also a lot of great things that come out of it. And so it's been a wild experience. Yeah.
Yeah, you guys are located beyond centrally, man. Like this neighborhood is smack in the center of what I think is one of the coolest districts of Bangkok.
Right.
Why did you pick Thong Lor specifically?
You know, when we were first looking out for buildings, we looked at several different locations. There was one over in Phrom Phong, which wasn't a bad location as well, but it was kind of in a weird neighborhood. And then this one we came across through a realtor, and then we just arrived here, looked at this building, and we were like, this is it, dude. The location's good, the building's really funky and unique, we gotta do it. And so that's how we came to choose this place, yeah.
I'm obviously a client of you guys and think the world of you, of Keith, and of the team you've built. And that kind of parlays nicely into my next question. How do you find good Thai staff, good Thai employees to build a business with?
It's never easy because we've had some people come and go here, and just the job search process, I'd say it's probably a little bit different than back in the West. Just the way their mentality here is different than how we think of things back home in terms of interview process or like what we put on our resumes, things like that. I think it really helps having lived here for a couple of years and to be able to speak the language a little bit, understanding like the cultures and customs. It makes it so that I know what they're looking for, what their goals are, kind of what they look for when they're looking for a job, what they look from their employers and things like that. And so I think just the experience of having lived here for a few years definitely helped me out. Yeah.
Can you get a little bit more granular there? Like what's an example of knowing what they're looking for in a job? Let's take that one.
I think from my experience, at least for my era when I was going to college, it was like everything was geared towards like something to further your career always, as in like, okay, I'm going to get this job so that I can go get a master's degree or to go on to graduate school or something like that. You know, there's always a kind of a planned direction or process. It was for me when I was speaking with my peers back in university. I think here I mean, I'm sure a lot of that's similar, but you know, people are just trying to find something that really suits their lifestyle in terms of, is this location like not too far for me to work? Am I able to earn enough for my living? Am I a good fit for this company? Things like that, rather than just purely career-driven goals, I guess. I don't know. I'm not sure if that's a good example, but maybe that's something I've noticed. Here, people won't really be direct with you as well. You know, they might be feeling a certain way, but they don't want to offend you, or they might want to say something to just appease you. And so there's kind of a different type of interaction that comes along with it, I guess. And that's just kind of more or less, I guess, a cultural difference.
Yeah, and like there's not one way that's better or worse than the other. It's just purely different.
Right.
You know, it's purely different. There's so many advantages to working with Thai people that you wouldn't get working with Western people.
Right.
And then vice versa. Exactly. Westerners are better at certain things. Thai people are better at certain things, both as leaders, as partners, and as employees.
Definitely, yeah.
So there's no better way. It's just different, and that's something that I definitely think anybody looking to come to Thailand and start a business, whatever it may be, definitely needs to learn and needs to learn quickly if they want to have an awesome working relationship with Thai people.
Definitely.
How's your Thai?
It's okay. Should probably be a lot better considering I've been here for like 7 years, but you know, I got at least all the basics down, so like I can read and write and have a basic conversation and all that. So
yeah, I've heard your Thai. You've chatted with Crew Pha.
Yeah,
it
okay.
seems pretty good to me. I think maybe you're not giving yourself enough credit.
I mean, I can get around fine. Like I could travel all over Thailand, and I've done it before. I've gone on trips, and you know, I'm fine. But I think I mean, it's different for everyone. Everyone has a different ceiling, I think, for how much they're able to learn. But I think I got to a certain point where like I hit a ceiling, and I was just like, to get over that, I'm gonna have to put in that extra effort, and I just didn't. So.
But you can read and write it.
Yeah. So the first time I was living here in Thailand, I really was strict about myself in terms of studying. So I think in the first 3 years that I lived here, I studied like every single day, like at least for like an hour or so. And I made it a point to just always try to speak to Thai people in Thai. Whenever there's a conversation going on around me, I would just like try to listen as much and try to pick up on little nuances on the way they're saying things. And because like the way you learn Thai in a book, that's fine as an introduction, but like no Thai person talks like that, right? Like colloquially, they all talk in a much more like less formal way. So I think it's important to listen to what Thai people are actually saying to each other to get an idea of what conversational Thai is like. You know?
Yeah, agreed. I'm learning Thai right now through the Thai Language Challenge, obviously, you know, working with you guys to build that out with Crew Pha. This is her curriculum, it's her course.
Yeah.
And that's the whole kind of point of the course, is to get people speaking and to get people listening to Thai people. The whole support is designed around that. Her teaching style is designed around that. The classes themselves are designed around that. So I agree wholeheartedly. Let's just get back to starting a business and what it means to do that in Thailand. So obviously, being a founder of anything, no matter where you are in the world, is very difficult.
Right.
It's not easy. It requires a ridiculous amount of work, of working hard, of also working smart.
Right.
Do you feel that doing it in Thailand, there's an extra layer of complexity to it versus starting a business in the US?
Definitely, yeah. Obviously, the challenges we faced earlier, all the legalities, the bureaucratic nightmare that comes along with it. I feel like the language barrier is another thing, you know. I think just those are the biggest challenges in terms of starting a business here, I think. You really need to do your research ahead of time. And as you said, like starting something like this in any country is difficult, but you add all that to the mix and it adds an extra level of difficulties. So.
Thailand isn't the solution to everything. It's not the solution to everybody's problems.
Exactly. Probably one of the biggest misconceptions, right? For people that are having like, not to say it in a bad way, but maybe they're not happy back home, they're kind of miserable. They're like, oh, if I go to Thailand, everything's gonna be solved. It's cheaper, there's, you know, weather's good, fun. But it's like, no, there's a lot of downsides that come to it, like anywhere, right? Yeah.
Yeah, what is your life in Bangkok like?
If I'm not working, then I like doing jiu-jitsu. That's probably like one of my biggest hobbies. And so I spend a good part of my days going and training. Shout out to Arete BJJ, that's my gym. But if I'm not doing that, then I mostly just a lot of creative work. So like I'm a musician as well. So I like producing music and always doing photography and videography, trying to make, you know, just cool content. Yeah.
How long have you been doing jiu-jitsu?
I first started it way back in like 2009, but I took a big long break in between that. So I think collectively maybe like 7 years. Yeah.
You're a blue belt?
Purple belt.
You're a
now,
purple belt?
Yeah.
How often are you going out and enjoying some of the nightlife that Bangkok has to offer?
You know, I used to go out a lot more often, but since I started this, I don't go out as much. I don't know, maybe I'm just getting older and grumpier too, and like easily more tired, but I don't know. I used to be able to go out like a few times a week and just like, you know, come in and wake up early, but now it's like if I have a heavy night of drinking, I'm just like, I'm destroyed the next day, you know? But I would say like once every other week, maybe. Yeah, so maybe twice a month, maybe.
And what kind of places are you going to? Like the funky spots here in Thong Lor, mostly?
Depends on the crew I'm hanging out with, but like izakaya is something I really like to go to. There's a lot of Japanese restaurants out here in Thong Lor, so a couple places that I really like. But it just feels good, you know, after work you go there with your friends and then you just have some good food and beers. The other night I went to a couple of cocktail bars out here, it's called Truth or Dare, I think it's called. That one, Rabbit Hole's good, Tapioca. Places like that's always kind of fun when you go out with your friends.
Yeah. I like the same sort of scene, man. So you had mentioned that where you go on a given evening is dependent on who you're with that night. Yeah. Any advice on how to meet quality foreign and quality Thai friends over here?
I mean, the easy thing is work friends first, right? If you got like some good work friends, just try to invite them out to go out. If not, then just join some group or community of whatever hobby you're into. So for me, it's jiu-jitsu, so I met a lot of my friends through there. If you're into soccer, go join like a Sunday league or something, then you can hang out with people from there. I have friends that are avid rock climbers, and so they go out to Stone Goat rock climbing in Prakanong, and they have like a strong community there. So I think whatever hobbies you're into, find that community, and then you can start to find some good friends through there.
Yeah, great advice, and something that I've heard from a bunch of different people now. What's your take on Bangkok being such a transient city? There's always people rolling in, people rolling out. Is that tough, given that you're here full time?
For me, it's not that tough. I haven't experienced any bad sides about it for me personally, but like I know that a lot of expats say that's a negative thing about Bangkok, is you'll meet someone, you'll become really good friends with them maybe for like a year, and then maybe their contract for their job ends or something, so they got to go home or they get relocated somewhere else. So you hear stories like that often, and so I think just the transient nature of things makes it hard for some people to make like long-lasting relationships.
Yeah, the way I see it is like, it sucks when you build a good friendship with somebody that is, in town for 6 months, and then they have to leave, or they want to leave, they're going back to their home country or whatever. It's lame, it sucks, but at the same time, I've been living here for 3.5 years now. And because of those situations, I now have like this global kind of network of people living everywhere. And so if I wanted to pop into Korea for a week, there's somebody I could call, an old Bangkok friend. If I wanted to go to Berlin, there's an old Bangkok friend. Colombia, there's old Bangkok friends there. So that's the other side of it.
That's definitely the perks of it,
Yeah. So where are you living now?
I'm living in Thong Lor.
Oh, you're living right where you work?
Yeah.
Oh,
I work in Thong Lor, I live in Thong Lor. My whole life just revolves around Thong Lor.
What's your take on the area?
It's nice, yeah. It's definitely different than other districts. It's kind of got a glitzy feel to it. There's a lot of nightclubs and restaurants, so it's mostly popular during the nighttime here. But it's nice, I think I found my niche of what works for me, so yeah.
So Thong Lor is one of the most expensive parts of the city, that's for sure. What is your cost of living like? Is it reasonable?
I think it really depends on your lifestyle. I'm a pretty frugal guy, so I don't buy a lot of things from week to week. I just bare food and things that I need to survive. So going off of that, I found a really good deal on my condo, $15K a month. And other than that, I have maybe gym membership per month that I have to pay, of course, groceries. I would figure in electricity. As you all might know, it's hot in Bangkok, especially this time of year. So I run my AC 24/7 in my room. So it could get anywhere from $1,200 to $1,600 a month, if not higher, depending on the season. And water's pretty cheap. I would say transportation's another big thing, because I don't have a motorbike. So most of my transportation comes in BTS or taking Grab taxis and wind motorcycles, stuff like that. So other than that, I guess just going out here and there with your friends, which the cost of that can vary too. So those are my main expenses that I have from month to month, yeah.
So just looking at the breakdown that you've provided here, it looks like you're probably in and around 40,000 baht a month?
Probably, yeah. I'm probably not crossing 50K, I'm going to assume, yeah. Just a quick math calculation in my head, but yeah.
Yeah. So month dependent, but rarely are you crossing that 50,000 a month threshold.
And I can decrease that cost if I just eat Thai food only, no pizzas, no burgers, don't go out as much, things like that. So.
Yeah, I like the combination. I like it all. I like the cheap Thai food, but then I also like the burgers, pizza, salads. That's where Bangkok shines, though, man.
Yeah, man. Sometimes you just want a really good 12-inch pizza or something, with good craft brew.
Yeah, man. That's the beauty of Bangkok. Is it has it all, you know.
It really does.
And what you spend every month is really 100% up to you and the kind of life you're living. It can be as cheap as you want it to be. If you want to live in the outskirts of Bangkok, 4,000 baht a month condo and only Thai food, you can probably live here for 15 or 20,000 baht a month.
Right.
But if you want a decent condo in a relatively central location with some Western comforts,
Right.
you're going to spend a little bit more than that. Yeah, I find the sweet spot every month is really between 50 and 80,000
Right,
baht
yeah.
per month. You can live almost whatever life you want
think
without
so,
any sacrifice.
Yeah.
And then if you're around 40 or 50, it's almost the same thing. Like you're rarely making sacrifices, which is a nice part of this city.
It's really whatever you can afford and what kind of lifestyle you want. Because I have friends that live in a place for 9,000 a month. They don't go out at all. Where I know some people that are paying like 120K a month, and like balling out on a penthouse. So
Yeah.
it's whatever you want, really.
Yeah. Bangkok and Thailand can be whatever you want it to be.
Yeah.
What's your take on Bangkok as a regional hub? Are you doing much travel within the region?
Lately, not so much, but I used to here and there hop around the neighboring countries. So I've been to Cambodia, Laos, Vietnam. Still haven't been to Myanmar. I would like to go there someday. I've been to Malaysia as well. And that's the good thing about Bangkok. It's like a good base that you can set up. So if you want to like visit all the neighboring countries, it's not too hard to. There's AirAsia flights that go out everywhere. They're relatively affordable. And so, and I think, all these countries, they have their own identity and cultures. But I think as a Westerner, you'll find a lot of similarities in the way they do things. So I think that makes it like, kind of it's exciting living here. Yeah.
And then you're Japanese American, right?
Yeah.
So you're born in the US, but ethnically Japanese?
No, I was born in Japan, and then I moved to America when I was 6. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah.
That's neat. Where in America did you move to?
I grew up in Southern California.
Southern California?
Well, I actually first moved to NorCal, lived there for like 3 years, and then my family moved down to Southern California.
How close do you identify with your Japanese roots?
I would say pretty close. Like I'm kind of more on the American side, maybe just because I live there longer and I speak English a lot better than Japanese. But in my household, I always spoke Japanese with my family, and so like I never lost in touch with that side of my roots. And every year or two, I would always go back to Japan. So it's not like I wasn't there for a long time. So, and also, like I was always reading like manga and stuff in Japanese. And so it's not like, I didn't go back to Japan for a long time. I was always exposed to Japanese culture, so I'm still quite rooted in it, yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I guess what I'm getting at is it nice being a lot closer to Japan based up in Bangkok than you would be being in California?
Yeah, that's another good thing because it's only like a 6.5 hour flight here to Japan as opposed to like an 11-hour flight from America. So it's a good place to live if you want to go back to Japan and all that. So.
Yeah, from Bangkok up to Northeast Asia, Seoul, Busan, Japan, it's kind of like going from east to west or west to east in America.
Right.
That transcontinental flight, kind of the same time frame, right? 5.5, 6 hours.
Yeah, oddly enough, like I never hang out with any Japanese people back home in America. I mean, there's a lot of Japanese people in California, but I don't have any Japanese friends. Coincidentally, I've met a lot here in Bangkok because there's a large Japanese community here, especially from like Asok all the way to like Ekamai. And so, I don't know, it's funny how it worked out that way.
So you've been here for a while now, and I feel that you have a really good beat on the region. You're an entrepreneur here. You're a founder that is building what I consider a kick-ass business.
Thanks, man.
What's your take on the region over the next 10, 15 years for people that are looking to start a business?
I think there's probably going to be a lot of growth. You can just see it looking around the cities, like just new skyscrapers popping up like crazy. I think it's definitely COVID slowed things down, but now I don't see any signs of it. It's done, I just see a lot of people moving out here. Actually, I've had a lot of my expat friends calling me up within the last year because they saw that I started a business. So they were like, hey, I'm kind of thinking of doing the same thing. Can you give me your lawyer's contacts? Because they're thinking about starting one up of their own. And I think similar, not just Thailand, but similarly, you look at Vietnam, I see a lot of growth there. A lot of the other neighboring countries, it doesn't look like anything's slowing down anytime soon. So I think just overall outlook is really bright, yeah.
Yeah, I would agree wholeheartedly. The whole region, not just Thailand, but there's big things happening in Vietnam,
Right,
big
yeah.
things happening in Malaysia. And yeah, I think as the world continues to get closer and closer knit,
Right.
that this part of the world is going to continue to become more international.
I think so, yeah.
Which some people think is a good thing, some people think is a bad thing. It doesn't really matter what people think. That feels like the trend,
Right.
you know?
Yeah, I'm all for it. I like it. I like the direction that things are going. So,
Is there anything you dislike about Thailand or life in Thailand?
well, I think pollution's one thing that probably might scare off a lot of people, especially those that are more health conscious and whatnot. Pollution, many days throughout the year here is pretty bad. If you look at like the AQI ratings, it's like over 100. Especially during the months of like February to April, up in the north, they're always burning the rice crops. And I hate that because I absolutely love the north. You know, Chiang Mai is like one of my favorite cities in Thailand. And it's like that little window during the year somewhere where you can't go up there because it's just like smog everywhere, you know. But that's another thing I hate about Thailand. But other than that, it's mostly minor things, I think. Other than that, it's mostly things that exist in any other big city. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you on the pollution side,
Right.
and I think that has to be factored in for those of you that are considering moving over here. Because there are other options in Thailand and within the region and other parts of the world.
Right.
Right? Obviously, I choose to be here. Taka chooses to be here. So you know, we're willing to overlook it for the time being. But it definitely needs to be considered.
I think one more thing is traffic. Bangkok traffic is a whole nother level. So it's hard to be on time to places, right? Like no matter if you're like, if you say you're gonna meet someone at 4 p.m., it's like you might have to leave extra early, right? Because you don't know what's gonna happen. It's like, I noticed going to other cities around the world too, like cities that are planned out really well, they usually like design their roads to be in a gridlock pattern, you know, like, you know, horizontally and vertically, so you can find the avenues and such easily. If you look at a map of Bangkok, the streets make no sense.
Yeah, but I guess that's what happens when you have a city that just grows so fast
just
in the
sprawls
80s,
so fast.
90s, 2000s.
Because there's like a lot of streets where you go into them and they just dead end.
Yeah.
Like, so you have to turn around and go all the way back for like a kilometer or so.
What would you say to those that claim it's not possible to have a real career in Thailand, to have any semblance of a real income that you can grow and you can save real money for retirement later on in life?
Right.
Is there any truth to that?
You know, I can only speak from my experience and those around me, but I think it really depends on what industry you're going for. You got to do your market research. You know, if you're trying to like sell something here that's never going to be popular, then chances are you're probably going to fail. I have friends that, you know, are martial arts gym owners, people selling e-commerce goods, selling their own products. I've known teachers here that have been teaching here for over 10 years. They actually started teaching English at the same exact time as I did, and now they're in a pretty high position in their schools. And so it really matters like what you're going into, really, and how dedicated you want to take it, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think to add to that, like I totally understand why a lot of people would think that it's not possible to have a real career in Thailand.
Right.
Because this is a tourist country.
Right,
This is a vacation country, a place to come and holiday, a place to come and spend the money that you've earned over in the Western world.
Right.
Like I get that perspective, and I understand why people would think you can't build a real career here. What I would add is, and it ties in so well to what you had just said, is I think it's dependent on the person and what are you going after? What are you doing? You know, are you just going to come over here and be an English teacher forever?
Right.
Or are you going to come over here and be an English teacher and then grow from there?
Exactly.
Just like you would in your home country.
Right.
Are you going to come over here and, you know, work an hour a day and 2 hours a day and, you know, figure out a way to make $1,000 a month and that's enough for your beers and for your Thai food? Right. Or are you going to come over here and start a business and build that business the same way you would in your home country?
Right.
Like, I think it's totally dependent on the person. I think you can absolutely have a real career here,
Yeah.
make real money, and build a kick-ass life, but the route to get there isn't as clear as what it might be in the West, and it's definitely not just going to come easy.
Right.
So that's kind of my personal take.
No, I agree.
That I guess adds a bit more color to what you had said.
Yeah, I agree 100%. It really depends on, you have a vision, you plan it out really well, you find the right people to do it with, and then you just execute from there, and then the rest of it is just hard work, I guess, and luck plays a lot into it too. So, you know, some things are just out of your control. So, but
Yeah,
you know,
for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. All right, man, last question. Any parting words of wisdom for those that might want to move to Thailand, to work, to start a business? Any advice for those in that position?
I would say just come visit here if you haven't already. Just take like a 2-week, if not longer, time off from your job and come here, because I think a week's a little too short. Come out here for like 2 weeks, visit Bangkok, and then get a real taste for what this country is like, what it has to offer, and see if it's a right fit for you. If you enjoy your time here, then chances are you can probably make something happen. Because that's what I did. You know, I came here. Honestly, like, I think a lot of people come here to Thailand because they watched a lot of videos on YouTube first, right? They were like, oh, I watched a travel vlogger's video and showing what a paradise Thailand's like. And so, you know, they had this preconceived notion of things are cheap here, great friendly people, good food, beautiful ladies, or whatever you have it, you know? They had all these ideas beforehand, whereas I actually didn't. So I came here in 2011, so like YouTube wasn't even big back then. And so, like, I came here just with the intention of getting out of America. I was like, I just need a change of scenery. So that's the only reason I came here. I had no connection to Thailand. I didn't know a single Thai person. I didn't even know anything about Bangkok. I didn't know what khao san was. I didn't know what, you know, like, you know, all that funny, like soy cowboy. I didn't even know what that was. But I came here, met some great people. I had a great time. And so that's kind of where I find myself here today, yeah.
Yeah, you've built an awesome life for yourself here. Yeah. And it seems like you're going to continue to do that with Modal. And yeah, it's been awesome working with you guys thus far. I think you filled a major need in the market for what you guys have decided to go after. So I appreciate that. And also appreciate you for jumping on, sharing your Thailand Blueprint, man. I think what you have said will resonate with a lot of people. So thank you very much.
Thanks so much, dude.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right, there you have it. Taka's Thailand Blueprint. I hope there were some good pieces in there that you guys can pull from and get some decent value out of. The last thing I'll leave you with is, if you are considering coming to Thailand for whatever reason and you're looking to learn Thai, I'm currently taking this program called the Thai Language Challenge. A good friend of mine, Kru Fa, it's her curriculum. She was a top Thai teacher in Bangkok for many, many years, and I'm having a lot of fun and a lot of success with it. So if you are interested in learning Thai, just click the link in the description, and Kru Fa will send you a private video, and you'll be able to see inside of the virtual classroom. You'll be able to see the way she teaches. And so yeah, click that link, enter your email, check that out.